From Spring Lake Park High School as we open up our basketball season on North Metro TV. It's the Mounds View Mustangs and the Spring Lake Park Panthers tonight on North Metro TV. Good evening. J.W. Cox alongside Megan Knight here with Mary Peters down along the sidelines. And Megan, it's early in the season and all sorts of excitement reigning, no doubt, for both of these teams. Just 2 games so far for Spring Lake Park. This is the opener for Mounds View. Go back to your playing days. What was it like here in the first few games of the season? What were you guys looking to do?
Well, really at the beginning of the season, it's kind of about 3 things. The first one's chemistry. I think you're still at the point where you're trying to figure out how to play with your teammates. Some of them are new. Some 9th graders and 10th graders are coming up to play with the juniors and seniors. And I think you're trying to figure out still how to play together. Also, you're really trying to figure out the strengths of each player. Who are the shooters? Who are you going to be your ball handlers? Who are going to be your centers that you rely on down in the post? And finally, just adjusting to game situations. I think coming from practice, it's a totally different ball game than being in a real game where your adrenaline's up, you're nervous. And the first 2 games are just kind of about working through that. In the first 2 games, you know, like you said, Spring Lake Park is now 1-1. Jenna Murphy's averaging 24 points per game, and her older sister Bryn is averaging 12.5. And they're really the main core scoring of the Spring Lake Park team, which is very different than Mounds View because, as we heard from their coach, they're just a shorter team in general. If you don't have some size,
you want to run up and down the floor, and that's what they're going to look to do. We saw it a little bit from the JV team, from the younger players as well.
Yes, we saw them attacking the bucket constantly in the JV game, and when you are short but quick, you have to use that to your advantage because, as we can see from Spring Lake Park, they're a little taller. So when you can run the floor, maybe you can beat the big ones down the field.
Certainly something the Panthers can use.
She definitely has. I think she's figured out that the lob pass from the outside inside works well, and for a player who averages 8 points a game, already has 10 in this first half.
Another spark for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and Jackie's really scoring on all fronts. She's shooting from the outside. She's able to drive it in the inside. She's stealing the ball and dishing to her teammates. I mean, she's really doing it all for them right now.
50-32.
First half, what was really working for them was driving to the basket and getting to the foul line and trying to convert on free throws. And also, as we said earlier, the post lob, getting it down to Red or even Murphy. And then just to work on in the second half, they just need to slow it down and take care of the ball. A beginning of the year thing where you are aggressive and you have a lot of adrenaline and don't realize how quickly you're coming at the other players, and you know, before you know it, the whistle's called, and both teams were in double bonus, which can really slow the game down, which is not, as you said earlier, in what Mounds View wants to do. They want to keep the pace going.
Running that set offense more so than they did in the first.
Well, and I think we've seen Spring Lake Park, they went into a zone defense, and it's actually playing into the hands of Mounds View's shooters, as we saw in the last possession. Any space given, Mounds View will shoot the ball, and they're doing it effectively.
3-50. Back to the drawing board a little bit for Coach Etherton and the Panthers, but certainly some things that they can correct and feel good about coming into their next game against Manila, because they're going to have to bring it.
And definitely, and if you're going to have a game where you learn some tough lessons, you want it to be early on in the season in the first few games. You don't want it down the road. So if they're going to have it, it's best that they have it now.
Don't forget, we'll have highlights of this one tomorrow on Sports Den, the first of the winter.